So it is the first of the month, and I'm sure one of the things that you've been hearing since it's the 1st of September is that you should be spring cleaning your finances. And as part of spring cleaning your finances, you have to start investing. And one of the ways that you've probably been told to invest is to buy shares. So, in this very simple video, what I'm hoping to do is to answer this question of what is a share? So, what is that thing that everybody is telling you to buy? So, let's go. It is actually quite a simple answer. A share is a unit of ownership in a business. And so, if let's say you download a brokerage platform, which is basically a system to help you buy shares in the market, you'd find that there's a lot of shares for you to actually buy. So, here's a simple illustration. And you'd be wondering, like, okay, if I invest in this, if I buy this, what am I exactly buying? It's quite simple. You'd just be really buying a certificate that proves that you own a piece of the company. And so that's what a share is. It's literally a certificate that says you own a piece of this particular business. So that's the answer. Now, the follow-up question to this answer would be, how does this actually happen? Like, how does it happen that you end up buying a certificate of ownership in a company? And to illustrate that, I'm going to give you like a simple story. So let's say I start a company and we call the company Omega Inc. And it's a company that sells shoes. And my company has been doing very, very well. And so I now decide that I want to expand my business across Africa. And I've done research and I figured that it's going to cost me R1 billion to expand my business across Africa. Here in South Africa at the moment, my business has been making about 100 million rands in revenue and 50 million rands in profit. So not bad margins, 50% margins in terms of the performance of the business. And so I now want to expand across Africa. There are two ways that I could raise money to expand across Africa. My first option would be to approach a bank and ask them for a loan and then get told, yes, you can get R1 billion, but we're going to give it to you at 5% interest, which will be a bit unattractive to me because, well, 5% interest is my profit. It's my 50 million rands profit. So I'm like, okay, there could be another way for me to actually get this money. And the thing that I turn to is the public. I want to raise money through the public. And so what do? I go to the JC's website and I go to this lovely tab here titled Raise Capital, because that's what I want to do. And I calculate my listing fee. So basically, when a company lists, it's making its shares available to the public at an auction. So the JC is really an auction for companies, just like you get an auction for cars and an auction for house. You in fact also get an auction for companies. So when you buy shares, these certificates of ownership in businesses, you're just buying certificates at an auction. And so here I am. I want to now list my shares. And so I'm going to do something called an IPO, an initial public offering. And I'm going to basically list, let's say like 100 million shares, right? So I'm sure how many zeros I'm going to type here. And then I'm going to sell the shares for 10 rands. So you can picture 100 million times 10. That's going to give me a billion, and then I'll get my billion. And so the market cap of the company, the value of my business will be R1 billion. And this is how much I'll obviously pay to list those particular shares. And just like that, obviously at some point I'll do a roadshow, present the company, etc. But then at some point the shares are listed on the stock exchange, and members of the public can now start buying the shares. And in turn, they can also sell the shares to other investors who do want to buy them at whatever price is currently available in the market, or at a price that they want to sell the shares for. So when you log into your brokerage account, and so I'm going to use Easy Equities here as an example, what you are essentially buying on the platform is a certificate that proves that you own part of the business. You are among many shareholders of a company. And so I'm going to use Growth Points here as my example. So let's go to Growth Points Investor Relations Center on their website. And this is where they'll give you a lot of information as a shareholder about the company. So shareholder just means a person who owns a certificate of ownership in the business. And so the other name we will give you is an investor. And so you got the investor pocket where they got a lot of information for investors. So if we scroll down to the bottom, there'll be a section where they list major shareholders and the number of shares that they hold. All this is saying is this institution here, the Public Investment Corporation, owns 481 million shares, right? Meaning they just own 481 certificates of the company. And then obviously there's a total of how many shares the company has at issue, which is 3.4 billion. And that obviously then gives the PIC a particular percentage of ownership in the company. You too, if you bought shares in Growth Points, would be listed somewhere here. You'd obviously be at the other, so you wouldn't really be like here in these top guys, because yeah, you have to spend quite a bit of money to actually buy like 120 shares, 120 million shares or something. So you can imagine the share price right now is what, 12 rands. So 12 rand 68, and you want to buy 120 million shares, 120 million rands times 12 rands. You can make the calculation for yourself. That is a lot of money. And so all you'd be really buying is literally a certificate of ownership in the business. And then all you'd be selling at a profit, if the price does go up, is the certificate. And so all that you are ever buying and selling at a stock exchange is literally certificates of companies. This is true for many other types of investors. All you are ever really buying and selling are the certificates that prove ownership in a business. And so that what a share is. So if you've been wondering what exactly is a share, that is exactly what it is. It's just a certificate that proves that you own part of the business. And to make it easy for us to invest, buy and sell, we just trade certificates. We don't actually like transfer physical companies to ourselves. Like no one comes and gives you a brick of Growth Points. Instead, you just trade the certificate of the company that proves that you own a part of it. And so that's pretty much what a share is. If you enjoyed this video, then subscribe on FinMeUp and follow me there, and see you guys with the next video next week. Until then, bye.